Lord, we pray for your blessing. We ask for your grace, for your anointing, for your visitation, for your unction, the unction of the Holy Spirit. Let it be released this morning. In Jesus' name. I don't have enough secret. So, anyway, this series is going to be called Why Love Turns to Hate. Why Love Turns to Hate. Why Love Turns to Hate. That is interesting. Why love turns to hate. I'm sure you've heard of that before, isn't it? We've all had a story or the other when love turns to hate. And I'm sure maybe that's happened to you before, when you love somebody so much and it turns to hate. You know, I have not really experienced that before, that somebody that I loved before would turn to hate. I think maybe I should have, but I have not. And I think the reason why I have not experienced that is because of the decision that I have taken for myself personally, that I will never hate. I will never hate anybody, no matter what the person has done against me, and no matter how bad they have hurt me, I will still not hate them. The most I could do is just to limit my conversations with them or my interactions with them, or to just put a gap, but I will still love them, and I will still respect them, honor them, because, you know, we really don't have any option but to love. We are all supposed to love no matter what people do against us, and no matter how badly we've been hurt or injured. There is no excuse for hate. There is no excuse for hate. But we are living in a real world, and in the real world, things happen. In the real world, things happen. And one of the things that happen in life is that love sometimes turns to hate. Love sometimes often turns to hate. Now, let me relate with you first before I go ahead. What will you say about that idea? What will you say about this topic? What will you say about this suggestion in the first place? Is it a realistic topic? Is it a real thing? Is that really for real? Is it true that love will often turn to hate? And does it happen? I know it happens, but I want to hear your own opinion, and I want to see what you all think about that. Is it something that you have come across before? Is it something that maybe you have experienced? Is it a topic worth discussing? Is it a topic worth discussing? Is it something worth deliberating on? Is it something that you would like to hear? Is it something that you would like to understand why that happened? Is it something that you would like to understand? Would you really like to know why that happens? And how it happens, why it happens? And yeah, are you really interested in such a topic as this? Why love turns to hate. Why love turns to hate. To hate. So let me see what you say about that. But while you are writing your opinion and your feelings on that, let me tell you, give you an idea. I have so many topics. Like, it's always a dilemma for me to know what topic to come out here with for you. And you know, I always have many options, too many options really. You know, but this topic is an everyday kind of topic. It's an everyday kind of topic that people experience, and especially in marriage. I mean, even the fact that people who have been married will divorce, that talks about hatred right there. I mean, how can you describe a situation whereby someone that you were so badly in love with a few years ago, and you are telling her you are ready to die for her, and maybe she was telling you she was ready to die for you, and now the next thing you discover is that you are all hating each other, and you are all running apart, and you know, all over the place. But that doesn't really mean hate all the time, but in some cases It is hatred that leads to that. And, I would like to say thank you to TY, because I was watching, so I'm going to share this, where I got to know what particular topic I should talk about. And it's just by watching our video that got me to know that this is the topic I wanted to address this week. Because she was talking about, I think she was talking about the situation with her husband, how she got married. I don't remember how she called that video. She had a talk. She had a title for it, but she met this man, that just swept her off her feet, and a man that she fell in love with greatly, and she was describing how great the guy was, and that was so nice. I was so surprised, because many women, they don't want to talk about their exes, and when they talk about them, they only talk about them in a negative light. But here I was listening to a lady talking about this man. I mean, as if she was still in love with him, and without it was only when you keep on listening to her that you discover that they were actually divorced, and she'd been divorced from him before, and the man was even not alive anymore. I mean, the man is even not alive anymore. The man is gone, and and then when you keep on listening to her, you discover that the man actually badly hurt her, and did very unbelievable things to her. But still, I couldn't believe it that this lady was talking about him with so much love, with so much warmth, with so much passion, and that was very impressive. And I was thinking, wow. So she also described the anger and the divorce and the horrible things that the man did to her. So she was real. She's a real person. She was talking about. So I could tell that she's not bitter. I could tell that she's not unforgiving. I could tell that even though they were divorced and they had a very bad experience, and she experienced very bad pain, but still she was magnanimous to her, and to him, very kind. So and then I saw some comments under that, and the comment that made me that challenged me to really talk about this topic was a lot of ladies, when they were hearing what the guy did to TY, even though TY herself was not negative and she was not aggressive and she was not saying any bad thing about the man, and she was just telling the story as it happened. But some people were commenting, they were saying, man, wow, what a horrible guy, what the kind of guy is that? How can men be, so they started going against men, and the men are so like this, men are like that, guys are like this. And so I just know that it's just because of lack of understanding. A lot of people don't understand why men behave like that, or why things happen in life, or why love turns to hate. And and you know what? And also, I had listened to an interview here in Ukraine when a Russian TV program or a Ukrainian TV program was going about the street and asking women, about their experiences with men. And all the 99% of the women that were spoken to all came to the conclusion that men are dogs. That men are dogs and men should never be respected. That all men are dogs and men are just like, dogs are more worse descriptions. So I discovered that, ladies and maybe men also don't know why love turns to hate. And also another program that I saw, which also broke my heart, was that they were asking men about women. They were asking men about women, and men also think that all women are prostitutes. that all women are prostitutes, that women are just sheep, women are just sellouts, women are just prostitutes, all women. I think it's not fair as well. I think that is not fair as well. So both men and women are thinking negative about themselves, and I understand why. It's because of lack of understanding. People do not understand each other, and and the reason why these people are saying all that is because they had one experience or the other. So the men are thinking women are sheep and they are bad, and the women are thinking men are bad and they are wicked, because of their experiences. So, but their experiences are real. So we cannot say, it's not true that women are like this, and we cannot say it's not true that men are like this, and we cannot say that their experiences are not true. These people experience these things. Some of them experience betrayals. Some of them experience disappointment. Some of them experience heartbreak. Some of them experience all kind of things. All kind of things will happen to people in life, and so people come to their own conclusions. But when we come from a place of understanding, things become better. So I want us to understand what is really going on, and that this will not just happen between men and women, but this could happen between anybody, between fathers and sons, or between mothers and daughters, between children and parents, between parents and children, between husband and wife, between siblings, brothers and sisters. Love could always turn to hatred, and this not just in terms of husband and wife only, but love could turn to hatred even in church, even in the workplace, even in other places of life. So why does love turn to hate? Why does love turn to hate? Why does love turn to hate? The first thing we must know is that is a reality. It is a reality that love does turns to hate. Love turns to hate, and there is nothing we can do about it. It happens. It's happening, and maybe some people are experiencing it right now. Maybe there are some people who are experiencing that right now. But when that happens, the first thing you must know is that don't play the blame game. Stop blaming people. Stop blaming other people. Stop condemning people. Stop judging people. And stop saying somebody as being responsible for whatsoever that has happened in your relationship. If you are going to be focusing on she is to blame or he is to blame, you make things worse for yourself. So when love turns to hate, it's a matter of principles. It's a law that is in operation. It is a law it is a matter of law and principle that has come into force. It's not about the individual. And when love turns to hate, that could happen to anybody. It could be with anyone. It could be with me. It could be with you. It could be with anyone. It is just because that will always be the natural consequences or natural repercussion or nemesis of breaking a law or the other. So it is when we break a law or one law or some laws that that operate in that sphere, that is why that happens. So it's not about individuals. Sometimes we look at people who have experienced love turn into hate, and we look at them and think, wow, she was not lucky. She was not lucky, or he was not lucky. The guy was bad. Oh, the guy was bad. Oh, the guy was bad. Or the girl was bad. I would not like to approach this from that side. I would not like to approach this from the side of who is bad or who is not bad. There are some people who are bad, but don't let us define things that happen in life in terms of people are bad or people are. All of us are good, and all of us have some ugly part of us that we don't want to go into and we don't want to touch on. Everybody have both the good and the bad side. So the fact that anybody could be bad, that is just the reality. And if you are talking about somebody who is bad, you don't know what you will become. You don't know what you will do if you happen to fall in the same situation that this person finds himself. So if you happen to fall in the same problem or fall into the same situation, the exact same situation, maybe you would have behaved even worse than that person that you were thinking is bad. So I don't want to approach this topic from the side of there are some bad guys out there. No, that's not the way I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this from the objective reality of laws and principles. That these things happen when laws and principles are violated. And the reason I'm addressing it is not for you to be able to look at somebody and say, okay, I was not lucky, she was bad, or he was bad. No, it's just for you to be able to know what leads to these kind of things and what laws are violated for these things to happen and what are the things that we should do or we should not do to avoid these kind of consequences. So I just want you to listen to this message open-heartedly, to open your heart as we go through this teaching this week. All right, so why does love, I'm sure you'll be waiting, so why does love turn to hate? Why will love turn to hate? Why does love turn to hate? Okay, tell us, why does it happen, right? Why does love turn to hate? Well, number one, there is a saying in Russian language that says, "От любви до ненависти один шаг." I've never heard anything like that in English. I've never heard anything like that in English. От любви до ненависти один шаг. Maybe it's there in English. I will try to translate or interpret this to you, and you tell me if there is a corresponding or a parallel term or statement in English. What that means is that from love to hate is only one step. From love to hate is just one step. So you could be loving today and step in the right or wrong direction, you could begin to hate, could lead to hate. So what it means is that from between love and hate, or from love to hate, from love, this is love, to hate is just one step, one wrong step, or one step in the wrong direction will turn love to hate. And or maybe it happens the opposite as well. Maybe it happens the other side, from hate to love. Maybe one step between love to hate. But they say from love to hate, just one step. Is there anything like that in English? I don't know if you all know any phrase like that. I don't know. Okay. The English version is, there is a thin line between love and hate. Okay. A thin line between love and hate. Okay, that's what it is in English. So well, let's see that. I think that's what we are dealing with here. The thin line between love and hate. The thin line between love and hate. It's true, just a thin line. Why is it a thin line? It's a thin line because love, in most of the cases, has to do with emotions and feelings. Love, in most of the cases, is often have to do with emotions and feelings. And anything that has to do with emotions and feelings could be manipulated, unfortunately. Anything that has to do with emotions and feeling could be manipulated. So if love also is coming from emotions and feelings, it means that the feeling you are having now could change to the very opposite feeling if wrong steps are taken or if wrong indications are given. So what do I mean that feelings and emotions can be manipulated? what that means is this: if love is mainly in the spheres of feelings and emotions, we know that means love or feelings and emotions are in the sphere of influence of instinct and stimulations, which means love could be stimulated or we have stimulus, we have reflexes, and we have instincts. So let's not even say, even though love falls under the influence of instincts, but it's more under the influence of stimulus. Now, stimulus not in the terms of what we drink, what we tablets or something like that. But I'm talking of stimulus in the sense that if you are stimulated, you respond. And why do you respond to stimulation? You respond to stimulus because you are wired in such a way that you are an emotional being. You have feelings. So if I beat you, even if you don't want to, you react. That is natural. That is stimulus. You are stimulated. The stimul, you are stimulated. You're maybe, but just like if I beat you and you respond, the same thing could happen if I love you. So you could be stimulated if I behave to you in a certain way. For example, if I shake your hand now and I don't immediately release your hand and I hold on to it, that is stimulation. You get the message that it means I have more interest in you than the ordinary. Or if I look at you and I don't immediately remove my eyes and I keep on looking in your eyes and looking right into your hand and with interest and smiling, that is stimulation. That is passing a message to you, to your subconscious mind, that this man is interested in me. So that is a message right there. So which means that you are going to react. It's just like saying when somebody smiles at you, you would like to smile back. Why do you want to smile back? Because we are all emotional beings. We are all having feelings. We have feelings and emotions. And because of your feelings and emotion, so all these things are in the sphere of influence of reflexes or instincts. So you are reflecting what is directed to you. And love is in that category. I'm sorry. Even though we have a higher level of love, which is love that is based on decision. But not too many people love by decision. Let me tell you the truth. Not too many people love just because they decide to love. Most people love because they like what they see. They like what they have. Most people love because they feel they have a feeling for the person. What do we say when we are in love? And we say we have a feeling for that person. I think I have a feeling for that person. Why? Feeling is feeling. And what is feeling? Feeling is instinct. Feeling is reflexes. So why do you have a feeling for that person? It's not because you decided to have a feeling for that person. It's because, you are reflecting something that has been programmed to you or something that has been directed towards you. So love is under the influence of stimulus, of reflexes and instincts. And all those things have to do with our body and with our soul. So that is why, the kind of love that we humans experience apart from the agape love for God and for, that kind of love, most of the love that we talk about, they're mainly emotional feeling, and they are all mainly in the sphere of our body and soul. And that explains why Jesus said there will be no marriage in heaven. Because there is no manipulation in heaven. Nobody will be able to stimulate, manipulate, and your reflexes or your instinct or your stimulus or your response. That would not be necessary in heaven, because there in heaven you have absolute love. Absolute love. There is no need for any stimulus. You don't need to be stimulated to love there. You don't need to be you don't need to be manipulated. You don't need to be programmed to love there. Nobody needs to be kind to you so that you be kind to them back. That is one of the, so that explains a little bit why love could normally turn to hate. Okay, for example, if somebody begins to love on you and speak to you and talk to you the right words and really loves you, and how he loves you, and then the next week or the next day he begins to tell you how ugly you are, how horrible you are, that's just the one step, the thin line between love and hatred. So it's stimulated. The same person who was telling you, I love you and I care for you, you are the best in the world, nobody like you, opens you up. The same person, and you love that person, right? Because you have been manipulated. That's what happens with love. Love could be manipulated. Why? Because it is not purely in the spirit level. Love is in the real life level. Love is on earth. Love is in the domain, is under the control of the flesh and the soul. And what those things that are under the domain of flesh, especially of emotions and feelings, they could be easily manipulated. That is why that statement, there's a thin line, only thin line between love and hate, because it could be manipulated. So just the same way somebody comes to a lady and says, you are the best, you are the most beautiful, and there's no one like you, I love you, you are this, you are that. That lady opens up. She didn't think of him just before then. She didn't think of him a day before or even 1 minute before then. But after he started saying all that, he is stimulating our feelings, our emotions, and is opening her up. So she's going to open herself up and say, oh, he loves me. But if that same person comes tomorrow and say, you look terrible, you are so ugly, I don't love you, that lady is going to respond just the same way she responded with so much love and openness and appreciation and gratitude. The same lady is going to respond to him by saying, I'm ugly, I don't look nice. And she's going to, well, get out of here, I hate you too. She's going to respond with the same hatred. Why? Because it's all about emotions. It's all about emotions. And the love that we speak about among men and women, and the love that we mainly speak about in our human relations, is normally love that is emotional, that is feeling-based, that is emotion-based, and so it could be easily manipulated, because emotions could be programmed, emotions could be calculated, feelings could be programmed, and it is because they are all under the power of stimulation. So stimulation, it depends on what stimulation you are being given. You could be given stimulation of kindness, stimulation of attention, stimulation of love, stimulation of care, which opens you up. Or you could be given stimulation of anger, stimulation of hatred, stimulation of aggression, stimulation which hardens you and which makes you, to be aggressive and to be angry. So it is not that people change, because we have a tendency of thinking that any stimulation that is addressed toward me is sincere. All of us always think that if the person tells me he loves me, that is the way it is. And that's why we talk about belief or any kind of reflection. Anything that is reflected at me, I reflect back or I reflex back. And that means I think that, because if somebody is smiling at me, it's only natural for me to smile back at that person. It's a reflex thing. It's just something that comes naturally. But let me tell you another love that is not under the influence of reflex and stimulus. The love that is not dominated by feelings and emotions. Let me say, if a son comes to the mother and tells the mother, "Mother, I don't like you, I don't love you, you are wicked, you are this, you are that," do you think it is easy for that mother to easily, just throw him out and hate him? Let's say he's a drunkard. Let's say he's a drug addict. Do you know how much pain the drug addicts and alcoholics and just wayward children, do you know how much pain they bring to their parents and to their mothers? To the fathers, I don't know. Fathers could give up easily. But from my own experience, what I've come to discover is that the mother's love, the love of a mother, is not easily provoked. Because that love from a mother is superior to the love that we are talking about among each other. The love of a mother is on a higher level. The love of a mother is more decision-based. The love of a mother is more spirit-based. That love is connected to a spirit man. I mean, I know a woman, and this is very sad. I know a woman that the son will abuse her, chase her out from the house, close the door at her. And because the son was told by somebody told the son that the woman is a witch, that she wants to kill the children, and that she is the reason why the children are not successful. And so this guy believes that it is the mother that is responsible for all his life's failures. And African people tell me this all the time. And this guy is a Christian. He's even a pastor. And I told him, do you believe that your mother will do that? A mother, you don't know what mother means. You don't know what it means to be a mother. But so many people believe that their mothers are responsible for their failure or for the evil that is happening to them. And I told this guy, I said, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't even want to know you. I don't even want you to come to my house anymore. If you are going to be saying that your mother, you are chasing your mother out, and why is doing that? You know what this mother is doing? This mother is going to the church morning till night, praying for him, praying and fasting. This mother sending money to him. This mother is begging him, please talk to me. I'm dying. Please talk to me. Please talk to me, my son. I love you. She's fasting 7 days. She's fasting 21 days. She's fasting. And he is saying, don't pray for me. Don't fast for me. Those your fasting and prayers are the things that are making me to even experience more failures and things like that. Because those are the things the prophets have told him. And also in our church here, I have so many former drug addicts and former alcoholics. Do you know these former alcoholics and drug addicts, they have done horrible things to their parents. Some of them have stolen everything from their home. Some of them have stolen all the money of their parents. Some of them have beaten their parents. And this same mother that had been beaten and things have been stolen from her, they have stolen and sold all her things. And still, when they put the man in prison, she will be the one to go and ask that they release him. She will be the one to go to bring food to the guy in the prison. She will be the one to do. Nobody will be. I mean, the wives have left, the other people have left, but she will be the one to keep taking care of him. This same man that was beating him. So what does that mean? It tells us something, that the love of a mother, the love of parents, of a mother, is much more higher than emotions and feelings. But what we call love is mainly stimulation, emotion, instincts, reflexes. But when it comes to the mother, yes, even though a mother also will be happy when a son comes and, you know, he treats her nice and she is happy. But even if the son treats her bad, her love is so genuine that it will still give him a benefit of a doubt. She will still give him the benefit of a doubt and say, no, my son is still good anyway. No, maybe something just happened. Oh, something is wrong with my son. No, she's still going to be fighting for you. But if you do that to your wife or to your partner or to your friend, they will just go off on you. And women could be sometimes, if she's really very bitter, she could be villain. She could come after you very bad. And but because these are all things that are emotions. So you right there understand one of the main reasons why love will turn to hate. Love turns to hate in response to the particular behavior that is directed at that person. Love turns to hate because what we call love, most of the time, is just a reflex and stimulus. Just a reflex and stimulus. So when I'm loved, I love back. When I'm hated, I hate back. When somebody smiles at me, I smile back. When somebody is angry at me, I'm angry as well. So that is one. But this is just the introduction, you know. This is just the first class. In the evening, I'm going to go deeper to why love turns to hate. But, you know, it is possible that somebody is saying, but, okay, I'm saying, no, but I'm justified because people are thinking they are justified why they hate. Because he behaved to me like this. Because he did this to me. So they are thinking that is justifiable. There is a reason for my hate. There is a reason for my aggression. There is a reason for why I don't like him. Because he treated me like this, or she treated me like this, or he did this. But in the real sense, the kind of love that God wants us to have is totally the opposite. God wants our love to be the love that is based not on emotions, not on feelings, not so that if it's not based on emotion and feelings, then it cannot be subdued or manipulated by reflex or by stimulus or by instinct. That is why Jesus came with a superior love. So what is the love that Jesus brought? Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 46, it says, "For if you love those who love you," that is, you see, still reflex there. I love you, you reflex back and love me back. I smile at you, you reflex back and smile at me. I hold on to you, I hug you, and I look into your eyes intensely or intently, and you feel it that, oh, he loves me. And you love me back. You look in my eyes, I kiss you, you look back and kiss me as well. What is that? You are only reflecting. It's just a product of a reflex. So you are only reflecting what is being directed at you. So is that really love? That's what Jesus said. No, that's not love yet. It could stimulate love. It could lead to love, but that's not love yet. That just reflex. Now, then the same thing. I'm no more seeing their comments. The same thing. Smartphone. The same thing happens when. How do we say it? When. Okay, let me see if I will be able to see your comments from here. So Jesus said, if you love those people who love you, it means you are playing the game of reflex. You are playing the game of stimulus. Because if you love the person that loves you, that means the person loves you. It means the person is stimulating you by that love. And you are loving the person back. So it is not about real love. It's about stimulus. It's about stimulation. So you are stimulated by that love, but by that person's love, the person that loves you, it just stimulated you, and you responded. That is what happened. So you responded to his stimulation. So it's just what Jesus said. Don't let love be based on stimulation. Don't let love be based on emotions. Don't let love just be limited by stimulation or reflexes. Your love should not be based on how people behave to you or reflected to you or what people program you to do. So if your love is only emotional love or feeling love, then it's going to be under the power of reflex or of stimulus. So Jesus said, if you love those who love you, then that is not love. That's not the kind of love that I brought. So and it's amazing when you understand Jesus. So let's see again what Jesus is saying here. He's saying, so if you love those who love you, that is stimulus. That is, that is reflex. So it could be manipulated. It could be stopped. It could be, it could easily turn to the opposite. It could easily turn to hate. Why? Because the person who loved you showed you love and you responded by love. But what about if he shows you hate? What about if he shows you anger? What about if he begins to reflect do some different feelings towards you? What about if he begins to direct towards you different stimulation? What about if he begins to behave to you in an opposite way? Will you still love that person? No, you won't, because the love you had already was based on his stimulation and on his reflex. So which means now, if he begins to reflect anger or hatred towards you or abuse towards you, you are going to respond with the same kind of reaction. So that's why he said, if you love those who love you, what reward have you? What reward have you? You don't have any reward. So he said, don't love people because they love you. Don't love by reflex. That's what Jesus is trying to say. Don't love by stimulus. Don't let your level of love be on the level of instinct. Don't let your level of love be on the level of animalistic. This is animalistic kind of response. This is animalistic kind of reaction. Even animals love like this. That is animal level of love. Animal level of love is reflex, stimulation, emotions, and feelings. That's what animals do. But humans and people who are conscious minds, conscious humans, real humans, they love differently. Real humans are basing their love on understanding or on principles that they know. So therefore, if you come to slap me, I don't have to hate you back or slap you back. Why? Because my actions are not based on reflexes. My actions are not based on stimulations. So if you hit me like this, I could hang and anchor myself on principles, on understanding, and on the light that I already have. So my light understanding that love your enemies. You are provoking me. You know what? I love you still. I don't care. Why? My actions are not based on stimulation. You are stimulating me. You are provoking me. You are trying to make me reflect back to you what you are doing towards me, or to react emotionally back. But I hinged myself to my understanding, to my insight, to my inner leading, to my wisdom, to the light that I have, not to the things that I feel. Amazing. So he said, what reward is it for you? It is not that kind of love that is based on instinct that is rewarded in heaven. The kind of love that we call love that is based on you behave well to me, I behave well to you, is not rewarded in heaven. Its reward is only limited to the earth. Its reward is only earthly. So, that's why there is no marriage in heaven. That's why there will be no husband and wife in heaven. Because the concept of husband and wife and love as we practice it on earth is only based on this kind of reactions. It's only based on this kind of love. The love that is based on feelings. The love that is based on emotions. The love that is based on reflexes. The love that is based on stimulus. So this kind of love is not going to last in heaven, because heaven is only pure. Everything in heaven is only pure love. Everything in heaven is only absolute purity. Absolute purity. No manipulation. No mago there goes. No kind of play goes. No kind of game goes over there. It has to be everything, absolute purity, absolute perfection. That is what goes to heaven. That is why, there is no husband and wife there. There is no kind of love. You are not going to deceive anybody and say, and do I to them and tell them to reflect back to you. You don't need to do that in heaven. In heaven, all your motives and intentions are immediately visible. So that's why I said, people who love, those who love them back, they are not rewarded by God. They are rewarded only on earth. That kind of love only works on earth. And he said, what reward have you? You are not rewarded in heaven. You are only rewarded in heaven when you love purely from the heart without even expecting any response. When you love just out of principles, out of decision, out of understanding, not out of reflexes or emotions and feelings. So he said, so what reward have you if you do that? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? I mean, they are unbelievers. They don't even expect to go to heaven, and they are still doing the same. So it's things that don't have eternal consequences. They don't have eternal rewards. And if you greet your brethren only, what do you do more than others? What have you done more than others if you only greet your brethren? Do not even the tax collectors do the same thing? But how are we then expect to behave? How are we then expected to respond? What should be the right behavior? He said, in verse 45, that you must be like the sons. You must be the sons of your Father who is in heaven. So what does my Father in heaven do? For he makes his sun to rise on the evil. God doesn't need reflexes. God doesn't need stimulation. You don't need to stimulate God with your prayers for him to be good to you. You don't need to stimulate God with your offering for him to be good to you. Yeah. You don't need to stimulate God with God. I go to church every Sunday. For God to answer your prayers. No. You don't need to bribe God. You don't need to bribe God. You don't need to say, God, but you see, I fast once a week, and I do this once a week, and I go to church every Sunday, and I never miss church, and I give my tithe and offering, and so will my miracle come now? Will you now send me my miracle? No, it doesn't work with God. You remember two people who went to the temple, and the other guy, the only one, the Christian, he was just like one of us, yeah. He was just like you. He was just like you and I. And they went there and said, God, I pay my tithe, and I fast once a week, and I'm not like that other guy. He's a sinner. And God said, it is the good guy that we think is the right church member, is the perfect church member that went without receiving anything from the Lord. You cannot manipulate God. And unfortunately, I hear these days that so many churches are saying that, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this, you must go for evangelism, you must go to do this, you must go give your tithe, you must give your offering. Because it's tied to your miracles. Your miracles are tied to what you do, or your miracle is tied to your offering, or to your tithe, or to your home group, or to if you go up to church every Sunday, or you don't come to church or miss church. Rubbish. That's not Christianity. That's paganism. That is Pharisaism. That is Sadduceeism. That is anything but not Christianity. God cannot be manipulated by your works. You only need to love him. And when you love him, you don't love him because you want to get something from him. When you love him, it's not because you need something from him or you want to convince him to do something for you. When you love him, you are not doing everything you are doing calculated. You are not calculating your actions that is going to lead you to some profit or to some reward. That is evil generation. Look for those signs. It is the evil generation. We are the evil generations. Only evil people do that. Your intent is evil because it's all about you. Oh, God have mercy. And if you go to a church where people tell you that God's miracle upon you, God's goodness to you, or God's visitation to you, or your answer prayer will be dependent only on what you do, on your works, run away from those kind of churches. Run away from that church. Because the Bible says, oh, ye foolish Galatians. Oh, you foolish Galatians. Don't become a foolish Galatian. Don't let anybody fool you. He said you started in the spirit. Who had now brought you? How come you are now finishing in the flesh? Don't let somebody fool you. Don't let religious people fool you. Don't let church fool you. Don't let, people manipulate you. Just love on God. Your love for God should be because of your love and personal relationship with him, not because you are doing this. In fact, the righteousness of man would never produce, the works and, anger or whatever you do of man can never produce righteousness in the eyes of God. It is just your love. The only thing you really need to love God. You shouldn't tie your love to God with, your egocentric desires. And if pastors and leaders are trying to put you in that place that, whatever you are doing is connected to whatever you're going to receive to God, they are thinking God is like them. They are trying to make God be like human. God is not human. God is not man. God is totally, absolutely perfect. And you see what God does? And this is what the Father wants us to do also. He said, no. God makes his sun to rise on both the evil and the good. It's not about actions anymore. It's about you where your heart is. God loves everybody and he will show his love anyway. If you love him, it's not about either he's going to give you that or to give you that or you want to try to be good or not. And sends his rain on the just and on the unjust. So that's how God is. Just love on him. And it's not about because you want to receive something or you don't want to receive something. Just love on God. That is what true love is. Love that cannot be manipulated. Love that is not human. Love that is not based on emotions or on feelings. Love that is not based on stimulus or on reflexes or on instincts. Love that is pure. That is just based on relationship. That's all. That's the kind of love that God wants. And that's why Jesus was trying to tell us, don't let your love, your acts of love be based on instinct or on reflexes or on stimulus. That's why he said, you have heard that you should love your neighbor. You should love your neighbor and hate your enemy. Because that is, you love him because he loves you. So if you love people who love you, that is not the love that Jesus brought. That's not God's love. That is just, you are just being human. You are just being ordinary. That is animalistic love. That is animal level of love when you are stimulated. You love me and I love you back. But then he said, hate your enemy. So you are my enemy, you hate me, and I hate you back. So if you hate me back, that is animal. That is animal level. That is not God love. So God level of love and God understanding of love is, you hate me, that you still cannot make me to hate you. Even though you hate me, I will still love you anyway. Why? I'm loving you not because of what you are doing to me. You are hurting me or you are not hurting me. I'm loving you not because of your action. I'm loving you because you are made in God's image. I'm loving you because you are in the likeness of God. I'm loving you because you are human. I'm loving you because God is in you. I'm loving the God in you. I'm loving you because I carry the nature of God. I have God in me. I'm loving you because I'm obeying my Father in heaven. I'm obeying his instruction to love my enemy anyway. I'm loving you because of what I know and what I understand, not because of what you do towards me. So he said, you have heard, he said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies. Why? Because of understanding that you have. Love is the nature of God. God is love. You cannot say you know me without loving your neighbor or your enemy. If you know me, you will be like me. And if you are like me, you will love everybody. So if you love me, you will love everybody because everybody is in my image. So that's why what Jesus is trying to say is that your love must not be based on reflexes. Your love must not be based on stimulus. Stimulation could be different ones. Evil stimulation, negative stimulation, bad stimulation, or evil stimulation towards you. Actions could be different ones towards you. Aggressive action, bad action, poor, attitude towards you. And attitudes could be different towards you. But it doesn't matter what attitude. The Bible says that own no man anything except mutual love. So your own thing is just to love anyway. Your own thing is just to love anyway. Just keep on loving. It doesn't matter what the person does against you or towards you. So he said, bless those who curse you. Why? Because you are coming from the place of God's Son. You are coming from the place of God's love. You are coming from the place of God's attitude. You are coming from the place of behaving like God himself. A child of God. You are a child of God. So you are a child of God. You behave like your father. And your father will love those people who hate him. Or he will bless those people who curse him. He will do good to those people who hate him. And he will pray for those people who despisefully and persecute him and use him. And that's why I say, if you want to be sons of your father, if you want to be sons of your father in heaven, be like that as well. Because your father will even send sun and rain to the good and the bad and the evil and the righteous. That's what it means to be Christians. So for Christians, our love must not be based on feelings and emotions. Our love must not be based on stimulation and reflexes. Our love must be based on God's instructions, on God's understanding, on God's knowledge, on the things that we know about God, on our relationship with God, on the fact that we want to please God, we want to obey God, we want to, be like our Father in heaven. Our love is based on understanding. Why? Because we are Homo sapiens. And what does Homo sapiens mean? Human man, that is that thinking man, understanding man. Homo sapiens is man that uses his mind. So we are people that act not based on our reflexes. We are people that act based on our decisions. We are people that act not based on our emotions, but we are people that act based on our understanding. We are Homo sapiens. We are not people that act based on the reflexes that we get from outside, or on the stimulus that we get from outside. No, we are people that act based on the inner convictions that we have, based on the position that we have taken, based on the decision that we have made in our mind. We are people that act on the basis of decisions, on the basis of principles, on the basis of truth, not on the basis of what people do to us or don't do to us. That is what makes us human. But the men and humans that are acting only on the basis of reflexes and emotions. They are not humans yet. They have not grown to the level of human. They are animalistic humans. They are animal level of people. And that's the difference between people. People who live their lives on the animal level, and people who live their life on the superior level, on the understanding level. And that's why we must leave the animal level of living and come to the higher level of acting from understanding, acting from decision, acting from superior place, from the superior place of understanding, light, conviction, and truth, principles and truth. That is what makes us human. We are Homo sapiens, people who act out of understanding, people who act out of what they know, what they are convinced of, not who act according to what they feel or what is done to them. That's what Jesus is trying to say here. That love your enemies. It's not because your enemy is treating you well. It's because you are superior. You know something better. You are coming from a higher person, a higher level. You are a regenerated man. You are a man that is regenerated, moving and acting according to the inspiration of the Spirit, according to what is happening from inside conviction, not from outside provocation. Well, I have so many more to tell you, so many more things to tell you tonight. But what is the time, by the way? All right, my time is over. So it was nice being with you people. And I hope you got something today. Why love turns to hate. God bless you guys. Bye.